Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeyam Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savidutam Paridhana Taitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Sa. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopi Kantaya Radha Kantaya Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Pri Vancha Kalpatra Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Chivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namaste. Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharanya Nisesuni Vadi Pachatari Satari Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasani Guru Bhakti Vrinda. Hare Krishna. We just started the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, and we're going to continue now right from the introduction of Bhagavad Gita. And the introduction is the abbreviation of the whole of the Bhagavad Gita, the complete Bhagavad Gita. It's abbreviated to give you an idea what is to come in the whole of the Bhagavad Gita. So it is very, very important message that Srila Prabhupada is introducing to us. What is in the Bhagavad Gita? We already offered the prayer. So we're going to do, we'll read and we'll discuss this, right? We offer our prayer, like Prabhupada is mentioning here, our prayer was offered, Om Ajnana Timirandasya. What that means, every one of us, we are born in the darkest ignorance. And our spiritual master, he opened our eyes with the what? With the torchlight of knowledge. That is why we have to be grateful and offer respect to such a spiritual master. And such a spiritual master is ours. Who is he? Srila Prabhupada ki. And I keep repeating this. There is no greater person than Srila Prabhupada that walked this earth planet, as far as I know, according to my time. So that is why we have to show very much respect. We offer prayer like that. And we offer respects. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. So very important, we have to respect all Vaishnavas. Because Vaishnavas are very, very special and rare on this earth planet. Offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, as well as Raghunath Das and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. These are the 6 Goswamis, Sat Goswamis in our line, in the Gaudiya Vaishnava alliance. And then I offer my respectful obeisance unto Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas, and other associates. These are the Panchatattva. As you see on the altar, everything is set accordingly by Srila Prabhupada. It's in the introduction. I'm continuing to read. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopisha Gopi Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute. Oh my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radha Rani. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. So Krishna is the one who is a friend of the distressed, and he is the source of all creation. He has not been created. Krishna can never be created. That is why he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be created. People ask many questions. You know, sometimes they have arguments, especially these Mayavadis, or besides Mayavadis are a little better, the atheistic people. Those who don't believe God, don't believe in God. I don't expect anybody here, sitting here, not believing in God. Everyone believes in God, yes. So the atheistic people, sometimes they question what came first, the egg or the hen? What came first? Huh? Where did the hen come from? Huh? They can confuse you like that with these confusing statements. But here there's a statement in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says in chapter 14, verse 4, Ham bija prada pita. I am the seed-giving father of all living entities. So everything begins from him. So he is the beginning of all creation. He is the source of everything. Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 verse 8, Ham sarvasa prabhavo. I am the source of everything, both the material and the spiritual worlds. So therefore, according to Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada, nobody can defeat us in Krishna consciousness. You know? So that is why we have to be thankful to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopisha Gopi Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste. This is our prayer, right? Oh my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distress and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radha Rani. So we know that Lord, the consort of Lord Krishna is Srimati Radha Rani, his eternal consort. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. Offer my respects to Radha Rani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of Queen Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. And it is very clear, you see, when they speak about Krishna, they have to also speak about Srimati Radharani. Why is that? Huh?
The eternal consort of Krishna.
Yes, the more real reason is that there is no difference between Radha and Krishna. Radha, Krishna, Radha bina Krishna nahi, Krishna bina Radha nahi. Without Krishna there is no Radha, and without Srimati Radharani there is no Krishna. They are one and the same person, one personality, who has become two. Because Srimati Radharani is an internal potency of Lord Krishna, that is the Ladini Shakti, the internal potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Krishna expands himself on the left-hand side from his own Shakti, internal potency, as Srimati Radharani. Is that clear? So that is why there is no difference between Radha and Krishna, the potent and the potency, or the energy and the energetic. Continuing. Vancha kalpatru kripa sindhu bhyevacha patitanam pavanabhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namo. Offer my respectful obeisance unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. So this is our respectful obeisance to all the Vaishnavas. You'll notice we always do Vancha Kalpatru. And we also offer prayer like that to Srila Prabhupada, because he can fulfill the desires of the devotees. And not only devotees, they can fulfill the desires of everyone, a Vaishnava, and especially a Vaishnava like Srila Prabhupada. And our desire, what is our desire? Real desire. Huh?
To go home back to Godhead.
Yes, to go back home, back to Godhead. Even more than that.
Krishna Prem.
Huh?
Devotion.
Krishna Prem.
Yes, we want Krishna Prem.
Devotional service.
Engage in devotional service. Yes, we have. Those are all the right answers. We have to engage in loving devotional service to the Supreme Person of Godhead. And that is the goal of our life. And because we have become forgetful due to our conditioning, we have such a person like Srila Prabhupada to give us direction back so that we can fulfill our real desire. We all desire, you cannot stop. Because desire is eternal. You cannot stop desire. But you can change the desire from one of material to spiritual. And the only way you can do that by understanding through his bona fide spiritual master like Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise you cannot do that. So therefore we have to be very thankful and offer our obeisances again and again. And of course, the many other devotees of the ISKCON, we have to offer respects also to them, because they are spreading the mission of Krishna consciousness to all living entities. I offer my Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasidi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas, and all others in the line of devotion. So these are the Panchatattva in the line of devotion. The Supreme Person of Godhead, Srimati and Srimati Radharani, they are combined as one and became who? Huh? Yes, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the Lord expanded himself into the Panchatattva and appeared in 5 different forms. The Lord himself, that is. So therefore it is very, very important. We offer our respectful obeisances. And this is not ordinary arrangement that has been done by Srila Prabhupada for us. Srila Prabhupada ki. Prabhupada has been very, very kind to us to save us, to take us out of this miserable condition. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is what the Panchatattva Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach us, to chant and to get out of this material contamination. Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita Upanishad. It is the essence of Vedic knowledge and one of the most important Upanishads in Vedic literature. How you can describe this is like this. It's just like if you bake some cake, nice cake, and without the topping, the cream, everybody wait for that, isn't it? The cream on the top. And while they are taking prasad in the line, if there is cakes, the mind will be there where the cake is. With that topping, the cream. So like that, Bhagavad Gita is that topping of all Vedic scriptures. And if you study Bhagavad Gita, it is stated here, Prabhupada is stating here also, there is no need to know any other scripture in the world. You can just study Bhagavad Gita and save your whole existence from this miserable condition. That's how powerful Bhagavad Gita is. Of course, there are many commentaries in English on Bhagavad Gita, and one may question the necessity for another one. Anybody, any idea how many versions of Bhagavad Gita there are? Different versions?
Over 400.
Huh?
Over 400.
5,000.
Huh?
5,000.
Anybody else?
Say
About
about
600
about 600. Yeah.
750 different versions of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Different people made commentaries in Bhagavad Gita. And why there is another need for another Bhagavad Gita then? This is the answer Srila Prabhupada is giving here. The present edition can be explained in the following way, why there should be another edition. Recently, an American lady asked me to recommend an English translation of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, in America, there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita available in English. But as far as I have seen, not only in America, but also in India, none of them can be strictly said to be authoritative. Because in almost every one of them, the commentator has expressed his own opinions without touching the spirit of the Gita as it is. That is what Srila Prabhupada had to do a translation, because nobody was touching the absolute meaning of Bhagavad Gita. And what is the absolute meaning of Bhagavad Gita?
It has to be as it is.
As it is, what should be as it is? What is the absolute spirit of the Gita? They are not describing that, but instead they describe themselves and many other things. What is that?
They give their own opinion.
Huh?
They give their own
Yes, they
opinion.
give their own opinion. But what is the real fact of Bhagavad Gita that we are trying to establish and Prabhupada is trying to give us?
We are
Not this
not.
body give the spirit soul.
Huh?
I'm not this body.
No, even the higher than that, the highest thing.
To
We know
surrender to
that.
Krishna.
Huh?
To surrender to Krishna. And
Yeah,
to
something more than that.
Personality.
Yeah?
Personality.
Personality of who?
Godhead. Of
Huh?
Krishna.
Yes, give him a big hand, please. The Bhagavad Gita is here to establish that Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and no one else. That is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. And all commentators, they made so many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, but no one touched on that absolute personality, declaring that Krishna, you are the supreme personality of Godhead. Only Srila Prabhupada's translation establishes that Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That is why the Prabhupada has translated this edition and called it Bhagavad Gita as it is. Not as you think it is, or you just manufacture something in the factory of your brain and give somebody. That is not the way. It should be given in disciplic succession And the conclusion of all Vedic scriptures, what is the conclusion of all Veda, the Vedic scriptures? If you study the Vedic scriptures, what should be the conclusion?
Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God.
Yes. Give her a big hand, please. That is the conclusion of all Vedic scriptures, that Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna is also the source of the Vedas. If you study the Vedic scriptures and if you don't come to that conclusion, then all your studies are simply a waste of time. Right? That is why in Srimad Bhagavatam, there's many commentaries, and it is not authorized. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a verse in chapter 1, Canto 1, chapter 1, verse 2. Dharma projita kaitavo atra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedayam vastavam atavastu Sivadam tapatra yonumulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimba Palayirishwara Sadayoridaya Avarudhayate Atra Kritabi Susru Subi Takshana. You can repeat after me. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality, distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. So that is why Prabhupada has translated this version of Bhagavad Gita as it is, so that Kaitiva Dharma means cheating religion, the propensity to cheat us. There are so many religious principles and so many copies of Bhagavad Gita, but nobody are establishing the absolute personality, Lord Krishna.
Because they are envious.
Correct. Definitely, it's coming through enviousness. They want to establish that they are God. And they are the controllers. But we are not. We are simple servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, that is called Kaitiva Dharma, or cheating religion. So any religion that does not come to the conclusion that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no matter how you call him, you can call him Allah, you can call him Jehovah, you can call him Christ, another name, that is for Krishna, that's all Krishna's names actually. But they call it in their way. If one does not come and establish that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then that is cheating propensity. That is why right in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, this verse is written so that it is mentioning that the scriptures that's coming down in disciplic succession kicks out all this Kaitiva Dharma or cheating religion. It is kicked out immediately. And the truth is established that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is that clear? Very detailed I'm giving you because you ought to know why Prabhupada had to do another copy, because people ask you that question. There are so many Bhagavad Gita, why Prabhupada translated another one? Here's the answer. Because they do not establish that Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead. And that is what Bhagavad Gita is meant for, to establishing that Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead. And that is why it is called Bhagavad Gita. What Bhagavad Gita means?
Song of God.
Huh? Song of God comes from the word.
Bhagwan.
He was anybody? Yes, we did this section already. Coming from the word Bhagavan. Huh? Bhagavan means one who has.
Full opulence.
Huh?
Full opulence.
6 opulences.
All opulences. Just give it a big hand, yes. Krishna has 6 opulences in full, complete. Like for example, beauty, right? Riches, like that. He's the richest, he's the most knowledgeable, he's the most renounced, like that, you know. So if everyone has that 6 opulences in full, then you are regarded as Supreme Personality. But if you haven't got that in full, then you are not. You have to have all 6 in complete. Huh? Yes, we are parts and parcels of Krishna if you haven't got it. But if you got it, then you are Krishna himself. Okay, but if you analyze everybody haven't got that. You might be the richest person in this material world, but you might not be beautiful. An ugly person can be very rich, right? Somebody might be very knowledgeable, but he's not beautiful and he's not rich. If you have all 6 opulences together in full, then you are Bhagavan. That is why, that's what Bhagavan means. One who is complete with all 6 opulences. And that is Lord Krishna himself. It's continuing. The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just this. What is the spirit of Bhagavad Gita? If you want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on the label. It's very clear, isn't it? If you are sick, if you go to the doctor, and the doctor gives you some medication, what would you do? Take it according to your own direction.
No.
How would you take that?
According to that.
According to the direction of the doctor, as given on the label. Alright? So, and we cannot take the medicine according to our own whims or direction of a friend. It must be taken according to the directions on the label or the direction given by a physician. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by the speaker himself. And who's the speaker of Bhagavad Gita? Me.
Shri Krishna.
No,
Lord Shri Krishna.
not me. And that is what people get fooled by. And people become God like that. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Krishna himself. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Shri Krishna. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Person of Godhead, Bhagavan. If you read Bhagavad Gita, if you read, it says, wherever Krishna is speaking, it says Bhagavan Uvacha. The Supreme Person of Godhead said. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Person of Godhead, Bhagavan. Of course, the word Bhagavan sometimes refers to any powerful person, to any powerful demigod. And certainly here, Bhagavan designates Lord Shri Krishna as a great personality. But at the same time, we should know that Lord Shri Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas. There are other people who are called Bhagavan because they are powerful. But in actual reality, They are not Bhagavan. Krishna is the supreme Bhagavan. And it is established by all great acharyas or spiritual masters like Shankaracharya. And Shankaracharya is a Mayavadi philosopher, right? But he established Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Chant Govinda, chant Govinda, chant Govinda. Right? Ramanuja Acharya, Madhava Acharya, Nimbarka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. The Lord himself also establishes himself as the supreme person of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita, and he is accepted as such in the Brahma Samhita and all the Puranas, especially the Srimad Bhagavad Puran, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Bhagavad Purana. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, that Krishna is the supreme person of Godhead. That is established in all the scriptures and in Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, we should take Bhagavad Gita as it is directed by the personality of Godhead himself. Alright? So it's very, very important analogy, like taking a medicine by the direction of the doctor or taking it according to the label. You should take Bhagavad Gita according to the direction of the speaker of Bhagavad Gita or his personal devotee coming in a disciplic line. Understand? So that is what that is being established here. Continuing, the Lord says in chapter 4, verse 1 to 3, Imam vivasvata yogam proktavanham avaya avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvake abravit evam parampara praptim imam rajasayo vidu sakalene Namahatta yoganasta parantapa saevayam mayate adya yoga prokta puratana bhakto asime sakacheti rahasyam he etat uttamam. This is from chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, verses 1 to 3. Here the Lord informs Arjuna that this system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita, was first spoken to Sun God. Not to Arjuna. It was spoken to the Sun God. And the Sun God explained it to Manu. And Manu explained it to Ikshvaku. And in that way, by disciplic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been coming down. Any idea how long ago it was spoken to the Sun God by Krishna?
5,000 years.
Huh?
5,000 years.
Any other guess? 5,000 years ago it was spoken on the battlefield of Kurukshetra here
Yes.
to Arjuna. On the sun planet?
1,200,000 something.
Prabhupada is mentioned in the purport almost 120 million years ago. It has been spoken to the sun god, to Vivasvan in the sun planet. And later on, when it was lost, it was re-spoken 5,000 years ago on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to Arjuna. But in the course of time, it has become lost. Consequently, the Lord has to speak it again, this time to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. I just mentioned that, right? He tells Arjuna that he is relating the supreme secret to him because Arjuna is his devotee and his friend. Actually, Bhagavad Gita is not to be known to anybody else, but to his devotee. Because other people might not understand and they may misconstrue Bhagavad Gita without understanding. Only a devotee understands Krishna and he will give Krishna as Krishna is. Like Prabhupada is mentioning here. And only Prabhupada, because a pure devotee of Krishna, he could give Krishna as is, coming down in disciplic succession. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna. Why?
To re-establish religion.
But why did he speak Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna?
Because he's a very dear friend.
Huh? Yes, he's a very dear friend and a devotee to the Lord. Give her a big hand, please. Very dear friend and devotee to the Lord. That is why the Lord spoke Bhagavad Gita to him. Otherwise, Bhagavad Gita only spoken to anybody else. But out of compassion, Prabhupada has spoken Bhagavad Gita throughout the world. And we, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, try to speak it to everybody else. Right at the present moment, you know there are so many people who comment on Bhagavad Gita and actually they decry the message of Bhagavad Gita and they try to bring Krishna down, establishing him as an ordinary person and not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Do you know that? There are so many people, but they cannot prove that. Because how do you ask that question? If they say that Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you prove to me. How do you prove to me that Krishna is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What information have you got? How do you prove that? But we can prove to you that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In every scripture, and the great acharyas have established that Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam, and Krishna himself has mentioned that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to me, and no one is greater than me. In Bhagavad, in Srimad Bhagavatam, very important verse, Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse 1. Very, very important verse, where it is being established that Krishna is the Supreme Person of God, right in the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, 1:1:1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmad Asya Yatha Anyad Itaratas Chatareshu Abhigyana Swarat Tine Brahma Hrideya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Varimridam Yata Vinmayo Yatra Tri Sarga Amrisa Damana Swena Sada Nirasta Kukam Satyam Param Dimahim. You can repeat after me. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, Son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because He is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes, of the creation, of the sustenance and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and He is independent because there is no other cause beyond Him. It is He only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By Him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water, only because of Him did the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of material nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon Him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representation of the material world. I meditate upon Him, for He is the absolute truth. Is it clear? That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is established here by Vyasadeva himself and nobody else. Because Vyasadeva is a literal incarnation of Krishna, of Godhead himself. He's a literal incarnation. Lord Krishna incarnated himself to speak about himself. And much better person to listen to than Krishna himself, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So I'm going to stop right there, okay? And then we can continue next week. Very interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
It is very deep message. Even if you heard it before, you can continue hearing Bhagavad Gita because it brings newer and newer facts into your heart. How to establish yourself to love Krishna more and more. That is why it is important, even as devotees, we should continue listening to Bhagavad Gita again and again and again. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Rajit ki. Please give me our blessing ki. Ita Go Premanande.